Hello, everybody just coming in. Welcome to the University of Toledo's chat with the College of Natural Science and Mathematics. We're going to get started in just about 2 minutes. We're going to let everybody kind of filter in. Our waiting room is being a little slow today here on Zoom, so we're trying to get everybody loaded in. But once everyone's joined and we're good to go, we will start talking about the University of Toledo and specifically the College of Natural Science and Mathematics. So if you haven't already, start thinking about some questions, because this is always a fun time. There's always some great conversations here, but it's a good time for you to learn specifically the things that you want to know out of the University of Toledo in your college and your major and your program. So especially if you visited other schools, visited with other programs, and they had cool stuff, and you want to know if Toledo has that same cool stuff, now is the time to ask. So definitely be brainstorming some of your questions. Like I said, we're gonna get started in just another minute or so. We'll give everyone a chance to grab the Zoom link and hop in. If everybody who isn't presenting could just go ahead and mute their microphones, I would also appreciate that real quick. If you have questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. We will make sure that we answer all the questions tonight. If there's a question that you want to ask that maybe you don't want to, ask publicly, you can direct message them to me. My name is Ryan. I am a regional enrollment manager here with the University of Toledo. I think on Zoom, it's UToledo admissions. So send it to me privately and I will ask the question for you. So that way you can do it anonymously, but please feel free to send those in at any time. Let's see. I think now we've got the waiting room all cleared out. Give it another second. All right, I think we are good to go. So again, everybody, welcome to our chat with the University of Toledo and specifically the College of Natural Science and Mathematics. My name is Ryan Chernick. I work in the Office of Undergraduate Admissions, so I'm here to help with all the admissions, housing, financial aid related questions, but you are here tonight specifically to learn more about the College of Natural Science and Mathematics here at the University of Toledo, which houses all kinds of academic programs and majors. There's a lot of really cool research. So we're going to hear all about that. Tonight's speaker is pretty high up in the college, I would say. He is the interim dean for the College of Natural Science and Mathematics. It is Dr. John Plenifish. So Dr. Plenifish, if you would like to take it away, I can make you a co-host so you can share your screen if you'd like to. And then
that's the idea. Yeah, I got some.
We will be off and running.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Just like to remind you, you can type into the chat and let me know if you have questions or whatever. First thing I'm going to ask quickly is, and let me share. Let me share my screen so we're not looking just at nothing. But one of the things you can put into the chat is what you're interested in. What program are you particularly interested in? And wait a second. I am seeing, this is unusual. Oh. Hang on a second. I want to share my PowerPoint, but it's a little bit sluggish here, bringing that up. Hang on. So I see back to MD biology, med tech and pre-med, back to MD and dental program, and something is wrong with my audio. Can you not, Kyla? Oops. Can you not hear?
So it looks like we might have lost John. I'm not sure if he's gone or if I'm gone.
Oh,
Oh, there he is. All right, great.
I'm back. I went away. A little problem there. Let me try that again.
There we go.
There. I've lost all the chat though is what's happened. Okay.
I'm not sure. I think you saw most of the majors. One of the ones also on there was someone interested in chemistry as well.
Chemistry as well. Okay, thank you. So I did not see everything.
But mostly back to MD and med tech, dental program biology.
Okay, great. And somebody had a problem with their audio. Have they resolved that?
I'm talking to him right now, so you're good to go, and I'll help him.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm going to just welcome you to the College of Natural Science and Mathematics and the programs we have here. And I'm going to give an overview of some of these programs. And of course, one of the things you're always worried about is, if I go to the University of Toledo and I get a degree in the sciences, what jobs are there out there for me? Now, I know a lot of you are already thinking about jobs in healthcare, right? And indeed, a lot of our students who go through our programs end up going to healthcare, dentistry, medical technologists, as physicians. I don't know, as the individual who's in chemistry, are you interested in healthcare professions or more a career directly in chemist? So for example, a research scientist or a product developer. There's a lot of things anyway that our students end up doing after they get their degrees here. And we really do have a lot of students that are interested in the healthcare professions, just like many of you are interested in that. And I'll talk a little bit about the programs that we have and how they can get you to where you want to go. So back up a second. So here are some of the degree programs we have in the College of Natural Science and Mathematics. This is really the home for all the science and math degrees. And among those programs that we have are actuarial science, product development. Okay, thank you. So you're interested in becoming a chemist and working in product development. That's perfect. That helps me to know what you're interested in and sort of talk a little bit about the real sort of the chemistry when we get to that point. So actuarial science, astronomy, biochemistry, biology, chemistry, data science. It's a new degree program. I'll mention it a little bit when we get to it. Environmental sciences, geology, mathematics, medical technology, physics, and statistics. Quite a list across the sciences and math fields. So a couple things I want to mention that I think make University of Toledo kind of special. And one of them is, of course, that we have this commitment to education. Now, you're going to hear everyone tell you that. Every university you go to, you're going to hear people say we have a commitment to education. So what is it about the University of Toledo's commitment to education that's special? I mean, what is it that's special about the way the faculty here would interact with you as opposed to some other, fancy school somewhere else? There's a lot of schools out there. What is it about University of Toledo that makes it a place you should really consider coming and can get you where you want to go? So, obviously one of the things is we have some great teachers here, teachers who really helped inspire you in the classroom. And I have some pictures of teachers here in the classroom. I see one of our math professors up there with her blackboard, and she's a fabulous math professor. I see one of our biology professors in a class teaching human nutrition down in the corner. It's in the classroom, and another math professor working with some students in math in the lower right-hand corner. But and then we see a field course literally out in the field there, right? In environmental sciences, where there's a class in a tent. So you can see there's a field class going on out there in the field, right? All kinds of interesting things. But what I want to draw your attention to is the gentleman standing with the bottle of kind of green looking water in his hand. Okay, so that's Tom Bridgman, and he's a well-known researcher. He does work in the field of algae. And he's interested in algae blooms and harmful algae blooms and the ecology of algae and how it affects water quality in Lake Erie in particular, but in this area of Ohio. And if you're from this area, you've probably seen him on TV talking about harmful algae blooms and so forth. But you see he's on a boat there. It's a little hard to tell, but he's on a boat and he's with 3 students. And 2 of those students are undergraduates. He's working with undergraduates doing his research. And this is not just specific to Tom. So there's most of our other faculty are also well-known researchers who get undergraduates involved in their research, and they work with the undergraduates directly in their research. And this is what, where I really see this commitment to education that's special to University of Toledo. Our faculty are really interested in working with you as undergraduates in their research labs or in the field. And that does give you, in the end of the day, a real boost in your career. It can really help you when you go on to the next step in your career. And I'll come back to that a little bit later when I talk about a couple of students that graduated from here and have gone on. And that's true whether you're interested in chemistry, mathematics, or going to med school and getting that research experience to go to med school. So this one-on-one interaction with faculty is really something that makes us special. We really do have this one-on-one interaction. So in the College of Natural Science and Mathematics, there's 5 departments. And one thing I'm going to encourage you is if you have the opportunity to contact people in the appropriate department or come and visit if you can. And I'm going to tell you where the programs lie so you'll know which departments you want to look at. So there's biological sciences, chemistry and biochemistry, environmental sciences, math and stats, and physics and astronomy. And really the group I'm talking to today, based on what you're interested in, you're really interested in 2 departments, biological sciences or chemistry and biochemistry. Okay. And I'll come back and talk about the programs that are in those two departments. Again, research involvement is a big thing, and internships are a big thing here at the University of Toledo. And again, you can see here's some photos okay, so there's a internship at the zoo, right? And it's a very popular internship, and a lot of our environmental sciences students get involved in that internship, and that's why I have the picture of the leopard down there. All right. But we also have researchers in astronomy shown here, a chemistry researcher, it's Emanuela Gianfrido. And then up in the corner, we also have, above Emanuela, there's some researchers out there in the Maumee River looking for grass carp, right? And so they're looking at invasive species there. And I see students working with, at least the ones that have the students as well as the faculty shown in there, working with those faculty. And certainly all the faculty, again, are very eager to get you involved in their research work. And again, you'll be working one-on-one with them. Emanuela is actually an analytical chemist here in the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry. And she is actually someone you can reach out to if you're interested in chemistry program and tell you more about it, because she's the point person for the chemistry department. So if Gail is there, and can type in Emanuela's name. Yeah. And also we have a video of Emanuela talking about chemistry, I think, as well, that on YouTube. But that's the person, if you're interested in chemistry, you should reach out to her. All right, so I'm going to just drop that in here. Okay, so another thing that we have here that's special and is pretty unique to us is we have this exchange program. Now, unfortunately, this year, COVID is hit, right? And so it's had to be put on hiatus. It's the first time in 30 years we haven't had this program running, and it should be back up and running. Yeah, Kyla, I'll come back and talk a little bit about medicine and hospitals and research opportunities in the hospitals in a few minutes. So remind me to come back to that, and I will talk to you a little bit about that, because I'll come back to talk about research again when we discuss some of those opportunities, okay? So, but I want to talk about this other experience right now, this University of Toledo Salford Exchange Program. So it's been going on for 30 years. Every year, with the exception of this year when we had to hold off because of the pandemic. And I'm expected to be up and running again probably next year once the vaccines have taken effect and we've knocked the pandemic back. But but it's been going on every year. It's a true exchange program. University of Toledo students go over there, and University of Toledo students in the sciences are the ones who go over there. In biology, biochemistry, and chemistry. It doesn't say chemistry, but it should. So biochemistry and chemistry students, pre-med students, environmental science and physics students go over there. Usually is about, around 10 students that go over there every year. It's not for everyone, but if you're interested in it, it's a fabulous thing to do. And students from over there come over here. It's the true exchange program. It doesn't cost any more than attending the University of Toledo, because you pay the University of Toledo tuition, right? The cost of living over there is roughly the same as the cost of living over here. So if you're not, in the dorms here, you're in a housing over there, and the cost is a wash. Really, the only difference is, instead of getting a meal plan like you do here, you got to feed yourself over there. So that's the only real difference. But otherwise, it's a wash. And the courses come back as University of Toledo courses. So there's no running around trying to say, does this course match up with this course or whatever? You can actually go over there and do this. And our students who go over there take their courses in their major, whether it's the chemistry courses or the biology courses, upper division courses, junior level courses. It happens during your junior year. It's all year. And while you're over there, it's a great opportunity to travel around the universe, around Britain, travel in Europe. And students who do this say it's the best experience of their lives, right? It's a great experience. And many of our students who go on to medical school and go on to professional school do take advantage of this and go over there. In fact, the 3 students you see there shown in the picture, who were over there about 3 years ago now, in front of the London Bridge there, those 3 students, or the Tower Bridge, I should say, for the Tower Bridge, those 3 students are, 2 of them are in med school now, and the other one's in PA school, in pre-professional school. Sorry, it's in physician's assistant school. All right. So they've all gone to professional school. So this is a great experience. The person you should contact if you want to have more information about this program is Brian Ashburner. And Gail, can you put Brian's contact into the chat for people that are interested in this program so they'll know?
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Department of Biological Sciences first. All right. And there's 2 programs in the Department of Biological Sciences. One of them is the basic Bachelor of Science degree in biology with a focus on cells, genetics, sort of the biology from the skin inside the body biology. And this is really the biology program a lot of our pre-med students get involved in. All right. Many of our pre-med students are in biology. Our pre-vet, pre-DED students as well are in biology. So we have some students that, as I said, go to dental school, go to veterinary school, go to med school, and most of those are in the biology program, BS in biology program. There's a lot of research opportunities in that program as well. If you're interested in that program and the research opportunities that are in that program, the person to reach out to is Professor Heather Conti. So this is if you're in biological sciences, interested in biology, you should reach out to Dr. Heather Conti. All right. And again, Gail can put the contact information for Heather Conti down there. And so that's someone to reach out to if you're interested in that kind of thing. Now, a lot of our students who are in biology end up doing research either in the Department of Biological Sciences or over on the medical school in research labs in medicine, okay? So this is why I want to come back to this question you asked, Kyla, about are there, opportunities in medicine and in the hospitals? So this is not directly in the hospital with patients, all right? But this is working in a biomedical research lab over on the health science campus with the MDs. And a lot of our students do that. And it's really easy to do that. Like I said, we really help. We really want our students to get involved in research, and we help you get involved in research. And Dr. Heather Conti can assist you with locating places to do research if you're in the Department of Biological Sciences and have a degree in biology, getting that kind of a degree in biology, okay? So that's one way you can get involved in working in the health sciences directly over there. If you're interested in other kinds of research, other kinds of internships or opportunities in the hospital, you should. So I'm come back and answer your question about the back to MD program in a minute, Kyla. So as I was going to say, if you're interested in other research opportunities, or sorry, internship opportunities in the hospital and so forth, if you're in biological sciences, I would encourage you to contact the advisor, the health professions advisor, Deborah Hendricks, and Chavron Kelly is the person to contact, as Gail's already put into the chat box there, about the Back to MD program. But those people you can contact, and they can get more information about, opportunities through that are not just the research opportunities over in our health science campus, but also internship type opportunities. Now I want to talk about med tech as well, because the med tech program is also in the biological science department. So med tech, as you know, is a professional, is a kind of a professional degree at the bachelor's level, right? It's a specialty degree that prepares you to become a clinical laboratory scientist. All right. So when you get your blood taken, it goes somewhere, right? But where does it go? Well, it goes to the clinical laboratory, and the people who actually do the work there and do all those test assays in those laboratories are the med techs, or sometimes we call them clinical laboratory scientists, but it's in our med tech program. The person to contact, if you're really interested in that program, is the director of the program, Catherine McCoy, who's our director of the program, and she can tell you a lot more about this program. But this program has a built-in externship in the senior year, all right? So during your senior year, you will spend some of that time working in hospital settings in the laboratories. And I have to say, we have 100% placement in that, 100% employment of our graduates, 100% placement of our graduates. For the past 5 years, everyone has gotten a job. Many of them have gotten their jobs before they graduated. They work, they work in one externship, and one of the employers says, "Hey, I like you to come here after you graduate." So we've had really good placement, and we also prepare you to take the certification exam. We've had 100% success in students with their certification exam in that program as well. So that's a really great program if you're interested in medical technology. I think our program is as good as you can find anywhere in that respect. Gail, do you have, yeah, there you go, medical tech website, and that should have the contact information for Catherine McCoy. And so that's the person you want to contact.
It does, correct. And actually applications are open right now for the 21-22 academic year. So I'll drop that.
Yeah, let me back. Hey, Gail, can I just back up a second? That's for the clinical year, and they don't need to do that when they first come in. So that's only if you're transferring. I don't know if you're transferring. You're not transferring, are you? The med tech student? One who's interested in med tech. Yeah, I'll talk. Yes. Oh, so Kylie, you're not transferring in. You be coming in as a freshman, is that right? Or are you transferring in? Because that would make a difference. No, I'm a freshman. Okay, so for Kylie, it's too early to worry about that senior year. Yeah. So most of our med tech students, yes, you could take the pre-med courses, and you'll get a lot of those anyway as sort of the science courses that med schools want to do. But I have to say, this is a degree program that's not commonly seen as a pre-med program. That said, there's some med techs that do go to become, MDs eventually, right? They do this for a while. They decide, you know what, I want to go back and become a doctor and work with patients. But we've also had people that were in med school drop out of med school because they decided they didn't want to work with patients and become med techs. So it's, it kind of depends on what you want to do, right? That question. If you really like the idea of working in a lab and find that exciting, but you're not so keen on working with patients, but you want to work in the medical field and do something really great, this is probably a good program for you. If you really want to work with patients, this might be an okay program, but maybe you do better, going straight to med school, right? So, but yeah, you certainly could do pre-med. It's not very common to do that. All right. So any other questions about the biology or the med tech programs? Because I'm going to turn to a different programs in a minute. You can see I'm going to move over to chemistry and biochemistry. The department where chemistry is located and biochemistry located is the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry. So before I turn to strict chemistry, straight up chemistry, so I'll make a comment about biochemistry. So biochemistry is probably the second most popular major among our pre-meds, next to biology. All right, so we do have a number of pre-meds that go the biochemistry route. In fact, I'm going to introduce you to someone, well, virtually, right? I'm going to introduce you to someone virtually here at the end of my little discussion about our programs, who was a biochemistry major, and talk about how it's really helped her, what she learned, her experience here at the University of Toledo really helped her get to where she wanted to go. If you're thinking about pre-med, I would also look at biochemistry really briefly, but it really depends on what you like best. Do you want to work on the chemical side of biology, right? That's biochemistry. If you want to work more on the geneticsy side, or the cell biology or the physiology part, that's more biology, right? As an undergraduate, which side you want to work on. And of course, our biochemistry students get involved in research in biochemistry. Some of them work over on the health science campus, getting involved in research in the medical school over there as well. Now, our chemistry students, a lot of them, as I said earlier on, a lot of them go straight into industry to work in industry. And we've got some really great chemists you can work with that are sort of straight up analytical chemists, product kind of people that are doing synthesis in various aspects. We have a group that works in what's called green chemistry, who look for more environmentally friendly ways to do chemistry. And Mike Young is an example of one of these faculty members. He looks at synthesis of organometallic compounds, but he looks for less toxic reagents, right? And he also has a lot of undergraduates in his lab working with him, just as many of our other faculty do. So green chemistry is this area of chemistry where you're looking to do chemistry in a more environmentally friendly way, use less reagents, less toxic reagents, and so forth. And we have a group of faculty here who actually work in that area, trying to look for more environmentally sustainable types of chemistry. Our chemistry program is a very strong program here. Again, we have faculty members, and we've already mentioned you should, if you're interested in chemistry, get a hold of Emanuela, Dr. John Frito, and contact her and get some insight from a chemist about what it's like to be a chemistry person. Okay, so that's Emanuela. She's put that. So let me tell you. So Kendall, let me tell you something. You're interested in cosmetic chemistry. There's a program, and I hate to say this because it's not in our school. It's in pharmacy, but there's a program in pharmacy about cosmetic chemistry. Basically, is what it is, right? It's the development of cosmetics. So I would strongly urge you to look into our pharmacy school and their program in cosmetics. It's an unusual program. It's not something you find every place, but we have it. I mean, it's not in my college, but it's at this university, and I would strongly urge you to look into that. All right. Gail, do you have a link to that program? If you can pull it up and let Kenda have it. So thanks, Gail. All right. Okay, let me just briefly go through what else we have here in the college. All right. So we have environmental sciences, and that's obviously biology from the skin out. It's like, zoology, wildlife biology, and that kind of stuff. Environmental science itself, again, the science of the environment, environmental studies, which is sort of a policy type of program where you're looking at the environment, but how policies affect what happens in the environment. And a lot of people in the environmental studies program actually go on to work as advocates or work with organizations developing policy around environmental issues. And then finally, there's a geology program as well in the environmental sciences department. But we have mathematics and statistics. We have programs in statistics, pure and applied math, and actuarial science, which is a very specialized type of statistical analysis. And a lot of people in actuarial science go on to work in the insurance industry. You know, all right. So Gail has put, Gail has put in the cosmetic science and formulation design webpage. Okay, so that's something I would have you look at. Please do look at that, because that may be the program you really are interested in, if that's the area you want to go into. Okay, we have physics and astronomy. Astronomy is one of our strongest programs, but I don't think there's any astronomers here today, are there? No. And physics, in our physics area, in our physics program, it's solar energy and advanced materials surrounding solar energy that are our strengths. And so a lot of students come here for the astronomy program and go to astrophysics, or come here for physics and really get involved in sort of solar energy and those kind of areas. Finally, there's this data science program that has 3 concentrations in it. Data science, one of the concentrations in astrophysics, so it's focused on the data side of astrophysics, using big data to understand things. Of course, one focused on environmental science, and using big data to understand the environment. And then finally, a big science in public health, right? So data science and public health. And if you're interested in pre-med, this might be something you'd be interested in doing data science instead of doing biology, and doing it in the public health arena. So it's something to think about. Again, you can take any kind of degree if you are interested in becoming a MD, as long as you take the courses that the med schools want. And they want a basic grounding in sciences and mathematics, but also they want some grounding in sociology and psychology and things like that. So they have some very specific requirements, but you can do anything you want as long as you get those courses under your belt as well. Now, it's really easy to do that if you're in biological sciences, you're doing biology right, or you're doing biochemistry. This concentration data science with public health would also be a reasonable match. And it's just a little bit, some of those courses that you would take would be just a little bit different. In terms of the courses, they're not quite as closely aligned, but it wouldn't take you any longer to get done. Anyway, that's all I had to say about this. Is there a name for involvement in the running of management? Yeah, it's called hospital administration. That's the name for that, right? Healthcare administration. I think that's over in our College of Health and Human Services. So there is a program in that as well, healthcare administration. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Briefly, I know most of you are focused on opportunities in professional school or medical school, and so but I want to just talk about some of our students rather than what's happened to them, rather than these programs, because you can see that you have a program. There's the opportunities for you right here on this. The opportunities you're interested in are listed here already, right? So let's talk about a couple students here. And I'm going to focus on the woman who's standing smiling with all that, at graduation a year and a half ago. And this is Celine Schrader, and she was a biochemistry major and a pre-med. All right. And she's shown in the corner, she's shown smiling both in the picture there on the left, and also she's in the middle of all the graduates smiling in with their little awards that they're holding up. So she came here to study biochemistry. She was interested in going to medical school, so she was pre-med. And she got involved in some of the things I've talked about already. So she got involved in research, working in research. She worked for a couple of years in a biochemistry lab here at the University of Toledo. She got involved in a summer internship, one of her summers at another university, where she met with other students who had also been involved in research. And a lot of those other students had gone to fancy name universities, right? You've heard of like Yale and Harvard, places like that, Michigan, places like that. And she was from the University of Toledo. And when she was involved in that internship program, she talked to the other students and she was talking about, oh yes, I'm doing research in biochemistry and I'm getting to work with these machines. I'm getting to do this and that. And it's, I'm doing this with this machine and I'm doing this hands-on. The other students were like, really? You get to touch those machines? You get to actually work with those pieces of equipment? Because in my lab, I set something up and then the graduate student touches the machine to do it for me, right? So they weren't getting that experience to actually have hands-on on those pieces of equipment. And she was very surprised. She had discovered one of the things that makes us special. You really do have an opportunity to get much more involved in doing your research. You have opportunities here to work with equipment here at this university that you're not going to get at some of those other bigger institutions, right? The other thing, of course, is that she was working with her mentor, with her faculty member. She worked with him, right, in his lab. At some of these other people that came from places like, Michigan or Harvard or Yale that were at the internship, they didn't work directly with the faculty member. They worked with someone in the lab, a grad student, right? That's the person they worked with. They weren't working with the faculty member. So again, she was getting much more one-on-one interaction with that faculty member. Again, that's something that makes this place special. You really do get this opportunity to work one-on-one with the faculties if you're interested in getting involved in research. And you certainly have that opportunity. We really do make that a priority here. We do have fellowships you can get to help you get involved and help support you a little bit while you're getting involved, and get involved in the research end of things. So I was going to say something else about her. So she got her degree. She got involved in research. She got her degree. She got involved in all these things that I told you about. She did not go to Salford, by the way, but other students I know have done similar things, going to Salford, got involved in that. But she got involved in this research experiences. She took advantage of what we had to offer, and she went to med school. So she's now in her second year of med school at a place you've probably heard of, which is Columbia University in New York, right? So you've heard of Columbia. She could have gone to an Ivy League school, paid a lot more money, not had as great an experience in terms of the interactions with her faculty, right? Wouldn't have been working directly with them. It would have been really a little bit different, not so family-like, right? And she would have gone to the same place. So the point is, she came here to the University of Toledo, did just as well in terms of her academics as people that go to much fancier places, and to be honest, pay a lot more money to go there, right? And was just as successful as they are. She got exactly the same place, right? And I just want to point out a couple more people on the picture on the right. The guy at the far right is a physics student, so I'm not going to talk much about him except to point out that he's now at the University of California, Berkeley, pursuing his PhD. Because he was interested in getting his PhD after he got involved in research and things. So he got really sort of excited about that stuff and wanted to do his PhD. And he turned down MIT. He was accepted at MIT as well, and he turned them down. So again, he got an education as good as anywhere here at the University of Toledo and is doing as well as anyone. The gentleman in between them, just to say, not everyone goes far afield. Some people stay close. Dan O'Shea, the gentleman in between him, he was a biology student. He's going to the University of Toledo Medical School, and he got a full ride scholarship to go there. So there are some real opportunities here that you can get a great education and do just as well here as anywhere. You're going to be set up for success here. There's no question about it. And I think part of that's our faculty really, want you to succeed and will work with you to help you succeed. And we really provide that one-on-one, especially if you get involved in our research. And the opportunity to do that is really, really easy to get involved in research here, and you'll find it to be very rewarding. So that's about it. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and this is my contact information here. So you shoot me an email. It's the easier way to reach me these days. Okay, and I'm going to, I'll answer your question in a second, Megana, but let me stop my sharing and then I can answer your question. All right, so the question is the Back to MD program. Again, in regards to the Back to MD program, how many students are in the program and how much does it improve my chance of getting into med school? So there's two things about the Back to MD program that you want to be aware of. The program has, again, I would talk to the Back to MD advisor about the Back to MD program itself. I'm thinking about now there's about 80 students maybe in the program. Not 80 a year, but there's about 80 students in the program. You have obviously have that opportunity to get an interview, right? Here at the University of Toledo, right? A guaranteed interview. So that's the sort of the thing that's really exciting about it, right? You get this guaranteed interview, but that's not the only thing that happens. There's also additional programming that's involved with the program. And I think that's become much more robust kind of programming that we have now. And that program is to help you actually become really well prepared to be a good candidate anywhere. So even if you decide you don't want to come here for whatever reason and you want to go somewhere else, you'll be better prepared as a candidate going through this program. And again, I would definitely talk to Shavra and Kelly about the Back to MD program and the other things that it offers beyond just sort of like okay, I'm going to get this interview, right? So some people think the interview is it, but there's other things as well. Okay.
Dr. Plenafich, if I could jump in real quick too, because I know I've heard them talk about this as well. There just is not an easy way into medical school. No matter how you cut it, no matter how you look at it, there's not an easy way, but this gives some clarity as well. So knowing your junior year, you have that interview, gives you that extra year, your senior year as well. So students always ask too, well, what happens if I don't get in my junior year? Well, then you still have this program, you have the department and the university behind you to grow and improve wherever it might be. So getting that second opportunity then to do your applications, to prepare and get into that medical-based program, I think also is tremendous value for that Back to MD as well.
Yeah. So the question is, when's the deadline for the Back to MD? I don't know offhand if there's do you know the deadline for that one?
It's in the spring. So right now it's still open. They're taking applications. I think they set the deadline once they have a better idea of their applicant pool. So if you're thinking Back to MD and you haven't applied yet, I would go ahead and do it tonight if you can. Please email me. Again, my name is Ryan. I'll drop my information here in a second. Email me if you'd like an application waiver or anything if you haven't applied yet, so we can get it done. Because I know around the holidays, especially this year, that can be a real barrier for students. So just let me know. But if you haven't yet applied and you're thinking a program like Back to MD, something pre-med based, applying earlier is always just the way to go.
So the other question was how many did they accept last year? I'm thinking it was like around 13 that actually got into the med school last year in the program. I don't remember the exact number. Does that sound right, Ryan?
Yeah, getting into medical school. Yeah, incoming freshmen that did the program. I'm not entirely sure.
Way more, but this is the number that were in the. That's the question that's being asked. How many got in?
Yeah, it is all on. They published the chart, so they published like every year's cohort and where they are in the process and how many students moved on. So if you go to that Back to MD page on the website, you can find all those numbers.
Yeah. So I think the question was about accepting to medical school. Is that correct, Alia? Not how many got in the program as a freshman. I hope that's the answering. Oh, both. Okay, both. So that's I think both questions are right. Yeah.
And I can answer for an incoming freshman into Back to MD. If you meet those requirements, you're going to be a strong applicant. So if you have that 3.5 GPA and you're even higher from there, if you have the 28 ACT, or I think it's a 1300 or so SAT, again, it's all on the website. But if you meet those requirements, you'll be reviewed for it. And every tick higher from that point, you'll be considered. So if you're above those minimums, then I would feel pretty good. If you're below either one, it is pretty strictly a cutoff. So if we're below in one or the other, you'll have to bring one of those scores up.
Yeah. Look, so the other question about the MCAT, do you need to take the MCAT after the interview? The answer is no, unless there's a particular, so for some scholarships, medical school scholarships, you'll need the MCAT score. So some students do take it anyway, just to be, to maximize their chances of getting other scholarships and financial aid during medical school. Because that's a thing too, right? I mean, I think you do need to have the test for the Back to MD program. I don't think it's being waived. You can get into university without it because of it's being waived this year, but you still need it for the Back to MD. So you should find a chance to take that that ACT or SAT. Talk to Chevron about that. Okay. I mean, that's really your best resource is to talk to Chevron about that. Is it a separate application? No,
it's part of the undergraduate application for admission. So if you do the Common App or you do the Discover application on the Toledo website, it'll just be a question and ask if you're interested in the pre-med Back to MD program. You'll select yes. You will choose a Back to MD approved major, which again can be in the College of Natural Science and Mathematics, the College of Arts and Letters, or Bioengineering, and the College of Engineering. As long as you're in one of those majors and you've selected yes in the application, you'll be reviewed for it. If you're worried that you did the application already and you haven't heard anything, feel free to reach out to us in the Office of Undergraduate Admission and we can check on the application you submitted and whether or not you indicated you'd like to apply for it. Similarly, a lot of Back to MD students apply for the honors program, and you can also do the honors application on the application. It'll be part of it. Or if you've changed your mind since applying and you do want to be considered, we can send it separately as well. So you can apply to the honors college, even if you didn't do it when you originally applied. We can get your application to you separately. You can also apply as a current student. So if you don't want to do it your freshman year or first semester, you can apply, in the spring of your freshman year or the beginning of your sophomore year. So that door doesn't close on you for the honors program necessarily. Back to MD is something that is only for incoming freshmen. You couldn't transfer into the program from another institution or start it late in your academic career. It has to be incoming freshmen.
Yeah. I send my new test scores from December. That's for you, Ryan.
Yes, that's my domain. Yes, you can. So we accept updated transcripts and test scores up until this year. It is February 1st. So that is the deadline for, I had to check my handy calendar on my side. That's the deadline this year for updating that information. And please send it in, especially if they're test scores, because this year we are super scoring. So if you take the ACT and maybe your composite stays the same, the subscores might be different, and we'll add those together for you and figure out the higher composite if it is available for you. So please do send us your updated scores and your 7th semester transcripts if your GPA went up to a point that improves your merit scholarship or improves your standing with the university. I have students, every year that when they send in their freshman through junior year transcript, maybe they don't qualify exactly for their program. But now that we also have a test optional path for students, maybe that 7th semester is the GPA boost we needed to get into whatever it might be. So do send those in because we like to see updated information on students up until that February 1st for financial aid and merit scholarship, but up until really May 1st for academic purposes in most cases, except for things like the dentistry program, which is pretty selective and also a partnership with another institution. But if you're looking to major in biology and we're not quite there on GPA or ACT, then let's see if we can take it again or raise it a little bit and then be re-reviewed for that program. Great, and no problem, you're welcome. Where would we send our uploaded scores and transcripts? So to send documents to the University of Toledo, you have a couple options. If you do the Common App, you can always use Parchment, which is the service that partners with Common App in order to send scores directly from your high school. If you do the Discover application, the UToledo application, your counselor has to send it to us directly, so they can email it to your admission counselor, who you can find on the website, depends on where you live. If anyone wants to post where you're from, I can tell you who your counselor is. Or you can find that on the website as well. Or you can just email it to admprocessing@utoledo.edu. most schools, we get applications from all over the country. I work with students from the East Coast down to Florida over to Colorado. And school counselors usually know the drill when it comes to sending transcripts. So if you tell your counselor you're applying to UToledo and you have to send your transcripts, they will be able to help you. And if they're not totally sure, reach out to us and we can help. But the main rule is the transcripts have to come from an official source. So students, no matter the situation, cannot send official documents. They have to come from your counselor. Maybe it's a guidance counselor or a college counselor. Maybe it's a teacher or a principal, an administrative assistant, whoever it might be, the registrar for your school that sends transcripts and documents. We can receive them, but they can't come from you or your family. Most cases, coaches don't count either. So your best bet's just, your school counseling office. Dr. Plentyfish, is this the most questions we've ever gotten in one of these? It feels like
a lot. It's a lot. Where would you send it, right? Where do you send it?
I would put this at the top of the list, and I love it. These are great questions y'all are asking, so it's really good. The interactivity is so fun, and you're all engaged, which is awesome. And feel free to follow up with more questions. If you have specific questions that you don't want to ask yourself, but you want to ask anonymously, again, feel free to message me, Ryan, or UToledo Admissions, and I can get them answered for you.
So there's two questions here. Honors College, when would be no decision? And then talk about the dental program, please. I guess that's a case dental program. I think it's too late, isn't it? Is it?
I think it's too late to apply for it, but if you did submit your application before December 1st, I think was Case's deadline, or our joint deadline, I guess. They make decisions from now until I believe February. So it takes a little bit of time because it is a program that goes through your freshman year. So it's a lot of review in it. For the Honors College, that's rolling. So what happens is you're admitted to the University of Toledo first through my office and my department, and then we send your transcripts and your application to the honors program, specifically Josh Martin, who is our kind of connection between honors and undergraduate admission. And then after about 2 or 3 weeks, you'll be admitted, or a decision will be made about the honors program. So first you'll get admitted to UToledo, and then about 2 to 3 weeks after that is when you should hear about the honors decision. But again, us admissions counselors, your admissions counselor, we can let you know an update on your application, or we can connect you with Josh, Mr. Martin, who is over in the Honors College.
I just want to make a comment on the dental program. The dental program, basically a biology degree is what you'd be taking. And then it's a 3 years here, and then you go start your dental studies at Case. And some of those courses at Case come back to backfill your undergraduate degree. Does that make sense? So there's courses you take as a dental student that come back and apply to your undergraduate degree. And if you're interested in that, again, I would talk to people over in the health professions office. They can tell you more specifically some of the details, but we've had students do this program pretty regularly. I haven't seen any real issues with students being able to, end up with the 2 degrees, get their bachelor's degree after they're in dental school for a year, right? That's the thing, but they're for a year and they get their bachelor's degree. I mean, there are some advising tricks to make sure that you take the courses you can't substitute with the dental courses while you're here. But your advisors will help you through that.
But we do still have about 6 more minutes. So any other questions, we're happy to keep chatting. Or if there's something you want more information on, more details, please feel free to let us know. I can review real quick. So for my friends in the room who have already applied and have already been admitted, your next steps are making your MyUT portal, which is where you'll be able to first view your financial aid package once those become available later in February, early March, usually. So make your MyUT portal or your MyUT account. You can do that on the website, utoledo.edu. Click the top right corner. You'll see it at the bottom as an option, your MyUT account. But us counselors will be emailing a lot about that here in December. If you apply but haven't gotten a decision yet, we are experiencing a little longer of a delay, mostly due to some complications via COVID-19. Unfortunately, I know everyone's kind of sick of hearing about that, but it is pushing us back a little bit. But if you submitted your application and your documents, no need to worry. You can feel free to check in with us, but it's just going to take a little bit longer than normal. But we always timestamp your application being submitted. So if you are trying to beat a deadline, just make sure you send them in nice and early. If you haven't applied yet, now is the time to do it. Our merit scholarship, we close, our priority deadline was December 1st. So if you applied before then, you will be considered in full for your merit scholarship. From December 1st to January 1st, it is on an as funds are available basis. So apply here early December, you should be good. I don't anticipate early December applicants having too much of a problem, but you can do the Common App or the Discover app on our website, and we're here to help. So feel free to ask any questions if you have any. I saw a question come in.
So there's a couple of them came in. First, yeah, I'm iffy about pre-med. I'll take that one.
Okay.
You can add that later on. You don't have to do that when you come to university first. You can decide, I'm going to be a little bit, and no, now I think I really am pre-med. You can add it at that point. You don't have to do that when you first apply. Okay. The second question. So that's can't decide if you want to work in the mouth or on the fingers, right? I mean, so that's unusual. I mean, most people know if they're really more of a dentist or a MD, but you may still be undecided, and certainly you can apply for both. The back to MD as Ryan said, that's a checkbox, right? You check off on that one.
Yep.
The other is a little more complicated.
Yes.
There's a case portion to it. All right. The scholarships.
Joint scholarships. Do you guys know when I would know? So a lot of the scholarships, you can usually anticipate about 2 months after whenever they close as a good window for when you might hear about it. As you all can imagine, Toledo's a pretty big school. So we get a lot of applicants, a lot of students, a lot of applications for scholarships. I'm not saying that to deter anybody. Please file scholarships, do applications, but it takes some time to go through all of them. So make sure if you do submit an application, you keep an eye on your email, go through your junk and spam folder a lot, but a safe estimate is about 2 months. Our general scholarship award from the financial aid office, that closes, I think this year, February 15th. So it's February 1st. So usually I tell students to expect to hear from that, around April or May. So it's different for every award, but that's kind of a safe window. All right, 3 more minutes. You all really poured them on there late. This is great. Getting a lot of good information out there. All right.
It's quiet bunch now. They've gotten quiet.
I think we got all the questions answered. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody so much for joining us tonight. This was a very productive conversation. Hopefully you learned a lot about the University of Toledo. You have a little bit better understanding of the College of Natural Science and Mathematics as a whole in your particular program and your path to success here at the University of Toledo. If you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help. If it's a major specific question or program specific question, obviously our friends in the College of Natural Science and Mathematics, Dr. Plenifish included, be happy to help. If it is something more broad, so admissions, financial aid, housing, orientation, that's where my office, the Office of Undergraduate Admission, is more than happy to help. So reach out to us, ask your questions. Gail just said she'll post this session on YouTube if you want to share it, or reference back to something that we did talk about. I see one late question. I accidentally said on my app that. If you can email me directly, we can take care of that tomorrow. So if you want to change how you applied, change your application type, we can do that. Just send me an email and it's no big deal. We can chat about that tomorrow for sure. But everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Plenifish, thank you so much for your time, and Gail as well. And thank you everyone in the audience for hanging out with us this evening and learning about the University of Toledo.
Well, thank you.